This is Business Decoded podcast with Ronnie Spellman. An informal chats with top business moguls as they share their stories of failure and success in a fun and relaxed way. Get entertained, educated, and unlock the secrets to success.
Welcome to Business Decoded with Ronnie Spellman. We're back with a great friend of mine, Rick Hopper. Rick, welcome back to the program.
Glad to be back.
Business Decoded, we're having a lot of fun here, helping people learn all kinds of ideas and become the next Rick, right? And, you know, to go from
dangerous
building the trim and being Rick the window guy to building a business that has a lot of brand visibility. You've done so well at building that business. Last time we spoke, though, you were telling us about Shark Tank. You were in the early days of Shark Tank, back season 3 or so, from what I recall. And I think it was season 3, episode 6, if I remember right.
That's right. It was Lori's first day on the set.
It was Lori's first day.
Absolutely.
That is hilarious.
They warned me about a week ahead of time. Hey, Rick, we have a new shark we think you're going to be interested in. And I really, honestly I didn't see a connection with any of the other sharks. I was going to go on the show and see if we can get a deal done. But when I found out about Lori, Queen of QVC, I was like, oh my God, this is a no-brainer.
That is hilarious. So Mark Cuban was on at the time as well, right?
Yeah. Mark Cuban, Damon, Kevin O'Leary, who I love.
Right.
Every show needs a villain. He's amazing. and then Robert Hershbeck.
Right.
But of course, Lori Greiner.
Yeah, it's and you're right. The villain on the show, he's hilarious.
I know.
Mr. Wonderful is just
outside the show.
To watch.
He's amazing. I was actually Lori Greiner's very first deal.
That's cool. That's cool. And she probably needed to prove something as well that she can come through. So you get the deal, Shark Tank, and then what? Like, what is the world like at that point? How do you prepare to grow and change and scale and getting you were in all the big box stores. I think you were in, forget the numbers, was it 5,000 locations around the country?
We were in Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Container Store, Walgreens, Ace Hardware. We were
everywhere.
Well, so I had already started getting into stores.
Okay.
I think we were already in either, what is that? Bed Bath & Beyond.
Okay.
And Lori turned out the thing that she did for us most was QVC.
Right.
And it was a great relationship. QVC was a big part of our business. And I'll tell you a little story.
Yes.
I could barely make these things fast enough.
Yeah.
Our first day, I will say this. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. I got to be careful about some of the things I say.
Sure.
But I had tried to get into QVC before I met Lori,
right?
And I got a rejection letter, like a Dear John. Hey, we know how hard this is for you to get this product, and we don't see it. It's not a fit for our programming,
right?
So I wish I hadn't tore. I think I was mad. I think I tore it up doing that. I burned it or whatever. So mad. Come on, what are you talking about? This stuff's amazing. So Lori, we make a deal, and then the morning after our episode airs, Lori has us on QVC the next morning.
Nice.
Sold out in 5 minutes, $300,000.
Wow.
I would call that a fit.
Wow. That's incredible.
And then show after show after show after month for 9 years, we had a very long run.
Wow.
But imagine selling the same thing to the same people for 9 years. That's a really long run.
That is a long run. So I just realized something. I brought you back into the show and I introduced you by name. I didn't even say what your product is. You have to tell us your product. So you're the entrepreneur, you're a founder, you've created several businesses. But what is your product?
I have to apologize for the name of my company.
Okay.
I had lunch yesterday with a very good friend of mine who's a very, very successful guy.
Right.
And he says, Rick, name of your company is terrible. I said, you're not the first one to say it.
Right.
I've had several people over the years tell me, dude, Redirest is a terrible name.
Right.
So every time I pull a $100 bill out, I go, you got 60 seconds to come up with a better one. I've done this at least 30 times. I've never had to give away the $100 because as bad as my name is, and the name is Redirest.
Sure.
Like you got readers, the readers rest in this. Right. It's a little magnetic eyeglass holder called Redirest.
Right.
So I've decided I'm going to start sending people to rickhopper.com because people can spell Rick Hopper, but nobody knows how to spell Redirest. Anyway, so
It wasn't a distraction, though. When I moved to California, moved out with a healthcare company. I moved out as a VP of operations for this organization. The total company was $1 billion, privately owned in revenue a year, 8,000 employees. And we were looking to redo that division. And we were looking at redesigning the logo and some other things. And the owner, who's just a brilliant business leader, he says, I wouldn't focus a whole lot on the name or the logo. It's really about the product and the service and the people. And we found out he was right. We left it alone and we focused on the other core part of the business. So if you have a good product, the name probably doesn't matter as much as someone to give it credit.
You think they'll just find you by keywords because, taglines or whatever.
Right.
I get it. I got that same advice yesterday from Ron. I don't know if anybody knows Ron Sturgeon, but if you are in the DFW area, go check out it's free, his museum. He has a couple hundred of the most incredible cars you've ever seen.
Nice.
Anyway,
okay.
I wish he was paying me to plug him. He's not. It's just amazing.
So you get on QVC. And so for the organization that has a product, not like yours, but a product that would fit a QVC or a Bed Bath & Beyond or Walmart, what would you tell them? How do they get there? How do they become that next read-arrest product? Okay,
before we started the show, we talked a little bit about this. We talked about getting into stars. You tell me a story about somebody whose very first customers were Costco and H-E-B.
Right. Yes.
That's the holy grail.
It is.
And she started there.
She did.
And I said the reason she was able to start there is because she had money to scale fast and deliver. Most of these big companies, especially QVC, they have to do, and I don't know what the numbers are, but they have to do tens of thousands of dollars a minute to justify the cost of the airtime.
Right.
And if your product, if you can't deliver ahead of time, and give it to them at a price that they can make money on.
Right.
I mean, there are a lot of hurdles you have to get over. So getting into QVC, I think the trick is having a product people will buy or people people already buy, that you can give them a good enough deal to where everybody can make enough money, you can deliver, you can scale up, and you can meet the demand. That is the biggest heart.
Right. How did you do that then?
Getting people to say, this is a great product. Right. Yeah, I'll buy that for sure. It's a lot different than be able to make hundreds of thousands of them and deliver them on time.
How'd you do that? Did you find a production company here in the States, or did you have to go offshore? Like, how did you prepare to scale up?
We make these in Texas. We started out making them in Fullerton. I'm from Southern California as well. And I was literally making them in a spare bedroom of my house.
You weren't doing that for QVC though, because of the volume. There's no way you can make it.
So you're right. Yeah. QVC came a little while after I was in production and starting to get sales. I was already in some stores. We already, so at one point, finally, I was in the spare bedroom, and I outgrew the spare bedroom. I came out of the hall, and then I was in the living room, and I had tables set up in the house, and my wife kicked me out again.
That's great.
So I had to go find a little facility, and I had to hire some folks so we could make them fast enough.
That's amazing. And so you grew the company, you kept growing it, kept selling the product, people kept buying it over and over again, which is a mark of a good product, by the way. If they buy it more than once or twice.
I always caution people, if you get an order from a big company, don't celebrate, be scared, because somewhere in that agreement, now I'm going to be careful about how I say this. I refer to them as every major chain I've had a relationship was a different type of abusive relationship because they're in it for themselves. They're in it to win it.
Right.
They can't take a risk on you that you can deliver or not. If you can't deliver, there's penalties for you, because they took a gamble on you. You have to deliver. There's penalties. There's all kinds of potential penalties. And until you get a reorder, you're subject to a return, a refund. And then there's return fees, and there's all kinds of. So don't celebrate the first order.
Right.
You celebrate the second, third, fourth orders.
And you can tell me what you can discuss regarding your NDAs or not, but I know that in the grocery business, they have like placement and stocking fees. So if you have a product, whether it's a salsa or something else, you have to pay for prime placement in a grocery store. And most people don't realize that. You don't just have a great product.
It can be expensive.
It can be very expensive. They don't buy the product.
Sometimes you got to give them like $80,000 worth of product for free in exchange for that. And then they pay on scan to where you don't get any money until it's sold.
Sells.
And then, so I got a story I wish I could tell you about.
Sure. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
I got a few different stories, but I got to be careful because I really shouldn't put anybody, my attorney told me one time, because I had a little tiff with Gorilla.
Okay.
A long story short, my marketing guy, who I had since fired and bought him out of this other company I have, he made a logo that looked just like the Gorilla logo. I'm like, dude, you can't do that. He's like, dude, we're totally in compliance. We haven't violated any intellectual properties. I'm like, yeah, but and then all my friends saw. They called me, dude. Did just Gorilla know you stole their logo? I'm going, dude.
Podcasts are so popular, even monkeys are doing it.
75% of Americans listen to podcasts monthly. That's 210 million people in the United States alone. And yes, podcasts are profitable. Joe Rogan is making $30 million per year. Your content, your knowledge is worth sharing. Don't just dream it, do it. Visit andycostafilms.com/podcast and turn your content into leaks.
So anyway, I have since changed the logo, and I apologize. And my attorney, when I showed my attorney the letter from the Guerrilla attorneys,
Right.
He says, he's a man of few words, but he's very well spoken. He says, Rick, it's never a good idea to pick a fight with somebody significantly larger than you.
Right. Especially if they're the gorilla.
Yeah, and they got the name called Gorilla. Anyway, Gorilla, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. I promise never to do it again.
Right.
And we didn't hurt you guys. Trust me.
That's hilarious.
Anyway,
I met a guy, business owner, who's in the restaurant business, and he did something similar intentionally. So he created a logo that looks like this really big company logo. And so we were talking about it. And what they decided is that they would make the logo and see how far it gets them. And sure enough, they got the cease and desist letter, and then they stopped. But they just wanted to see what would happen.
You can't blame them for trying.
Right.
I would like to say, I would like to plug my product. It's called Wicked Good Adhesive.
Okay.
It's great. Carpet tape, double-sided tape. I got this new stuff called Dutch tape.
Yes.
I've got getting the trademark Dutch tape. It's like duct tape, only better.
Okay.
Because it's sticky, it tears easier. No, it doesn't leave any sticky residue. Anyway, shameless plug.
I love it.
Wicked Good Adhesive. You can get it on Amazon.
Wicked Good. I am writing that down so you can get it on Amazon. So how did you, I want to figure out how you got into those extra businesses. I mentioned that you're a serial entrepreneur. We'll come back to that though. But finish telling me how you ramped up production, how you got shipping right. How much of a learning curve was it for you to get ready for something that big on national television? Yes.
I got matter of fact, I got 6 months worth of stories to tell you. We only got about 20 minutes, so I better hurry. So I remember we were talking a little bit earlier about somebody that's watching their analytics go up. So it's the night of the show. It's about to air.
Right.
And I was really mad at a couple other Shark Tank companies because people that were season 1 and season 2, I didn't know what to expect from the influx of people coming to my website.
Right.
And I wanted to get some advice from some people that have been on Shark Tank. They wouldn't call me back.
Oh, okay.
They wouldn't call me. They wouldn't answer the phone. They wouldn't call me back. I was so disappointed. So I answer every call.
Right.
People contact me. They send me an email. I call everybody back. I give everybody 5 minutes. Sometimes it turns into 20.
Love it.
But what happened? So I wanted to know what was going to happen. Well, so here we are. I had spent $300,000 of my own money on inventory.
Oh, wow.
We geared up, ramped up because there was some time lapse between when we taped the episode to the time when it aired. We had some time. So we geared up into what I thought was going to happen. So there we are, night of the show. It's my heart's pounding.
Did you have a watch party? Yeah.
Oh, we had 100 of our closest friends. We had 6 TVs in the backyard, all over. And goosebumps just thinking about it. It was amazing. And I had my web guy, and we had a big monitor watching the Google Analytics with all the traffic coming up. And so I had pallets worth of stuff. Now I had 1,000 read arrests in each box, and I had several pallets of these. I'm like, a lot of inventory. When I say $300,000 in inventory, I'm talking these things cost 50 cents to make.
Right.
And these boxes are full of money. Now, the thing starts going like crazy. We're watching the show, and I'm watching my friends. I'm watching my friends watch the show. I'm watching different TVs. I'm looking at myself thinking, God, that's what I look like on TV. I'm tripping. And then I'm watching the analytics, and it's going up like this, Commercial break. Straight down like a rock. People have no attention span. They can't even follow through with the freaking order. So we got 2,000 orders. I sold 2 boxes of product that night. And I had hundreds of thousands of dollars invested into inventory. Now, late that night, about 1 a.m, I drove down to my little warehouse where my stuff was. I walk in, it's dark. I flip the lights on. I'm walking up to these 2 pallets. I put my left hand on one box, put my right hand on another box. And those are the 2 boxes of stuff I sold. Wow. I'm looking around at all these pallets thinking, This is my life savings.
Wow.
But the good news was, I know how people reacted to the product.
Right.
I know they rebuy and they
Right.
buy some more and they buy them as gifts. So I thought, you know what? There must be $10 million worth of product in here. Several million
Yeah.
anyways, because when it comes down to it,
Right.
well, next thing you know, QVC places an order because Lori and all that stuff. So then
Okay.
it was okay. It was okay, but it
Okay.
wasn't what I expected.
Right. That is an interesting story. I think people will be intrigued by it because sometimes people think, well, kind of like getting into the big boxes, they think, all right, I have a deal with one of these big box stores, I'm set. Things are good. And I remember seeing a story, this has been maybe 20 years or so, about a I think it was a pillow maker that had a great contract with one of the largest big box retailers in the country. And they work you down on a pricing perspective every year, right? They renegotiate. Now I was in supply
I
chain.
got two great
so
stories for you today.
You
now.
have to tell me. So I worked on that side with supply chain management, and they're right. You have to work down the price depending on what's happening in the marketplace. Well, they ended up canceling the deal after working them down for years on their pricing. And I think, and I forget the numbers, I think the big box retailer was 80+% of their business. It was a pretty significant number. So when they lost
Build all
that
that
contract,
infrastructure for you. It kills
the
you.
business was done.
You know how many people that have told me that they got murdered by Walmart?
Right.
And I remind them, I have to be careful how I do it, but I remind them, I said, listen, it's not murder.
Right.
It's suicide.
Yeah.
You said yes to a deal you should have never said yes to.
That
That's
or
really
they didn't
what-
diversify enough. Right.
There it is. So
Yeah.
I will tell you two quick stories. One, a Walmart story. When we got into Walmart, got $1 million PO. We launched in there, and things are going good. We're getting reorders, so we had a reason to celebrate because we're going to have a long-term relationship with them. It's not just a flash in the pan.
Right.
Well, the next time I went in there to do my meeting with my buyer, I went up to Bentonville, Arkansas, and my buyer hands me this demand for price reduction,
Right.
where she just reached into my pocket and pulled my cash out for the next however long. And I'm like, and it was such a big part of my company, I was kind of dependent on it now.
Right.
And it was very painful. I left that meeting with one purpose,
Right.
to render Walmart irrelevant to my business model,
Right.
because there were the concentration. I talk about this with my attorney all the time about the importance of having low concentration. You have somebody that owns your company because they make the decisions on which.
That's right.
So I spent the next 2 years diversifying, getting
Nice.
lots of customers. My window trim company I told you about last time,
Yes.
I had hundreds of customers. My biggest customer was 3% of my business. Very secure.
Nice.
So so next time I went to a meeting with Walmart, she demanded a reduction.
Right.
I slid my new price to her, and it was actually an increase.
And what happened?
And she says, that's not how it works. And I said, I'm going to miss you guys. This has been great.
Right.
But if you're not interested in a mutually beneficial relationship where we all make money together, I can't be in a one-sided relationship. But I loved being in here.
Yeah.
She paid it. We had a long-term relationship. Matter of fact, they were the best payers. They paid on time every month. It was like unbelievable. Walmart's great to work with if you
Right.
can deliver.
Right.
You got a great product.
Right.
Anyway.
So that worked out. The increase. You got your increase.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Because I was willing to walk
Now,
away.
So this wasn't the plan, but I think there's such a lesson in what you just mentioned for other business owners. Sometimes they operate out of fear that they might lose a contract.
Most.
And you have to go into that knowing that this is where I am. I can't take less than this. You truly can't. And then you have to be willing to counter with something like you did and hope that it works out. And it did. It worked out for you.
You have to know where your limitations are.
Right.
I got so many stories to tell you.
Okay.
I'll tell you one more real quick.
Yeah.
I had a deal with Walgreens, and this was going to be big. There's a lot of locations.
Right.
And they were going to put my product by the reading glasses.
Okay.
Well, we send into their distribution center a whole bunch of product.
Right.
And it hits the store. I'm walking all over. I'm going to different stores. It was a national rollout. And I'm looking. I can't find it anywhere. I finally found my product. It was 9 inches off the floor.
Okay.
In the ear and nose care department. It's a little 4-foot section all about nose and ear care. And it was on the ground. Guess who wears reading glasses? 40, 50, 60-year-olds. Who likes bending over to find stuff on the really close to the ground? Not us. So it was dead on arrival. I even did a video. I'm like, oh, here we go. This is how the company died. And And it didn't die, but it was the beginning of the end of a relationship with Walgreens because of placement.
Okay.
It's terrible.
So it was a different placement than they guaranteed you because it was supposed to be in the.
I'm not going to talk about the details.
Yeah. But that's just
the program ended.
That's interesting.
The program ended.
Wow.
And I knew it wasn't. I knew for a fact it wasn't going to sell down there. First of all, it's really another component is it's very, very difficult to tell your story on a little package.
Right. It is. I agree with you there. Yeah.
Especially this story.
Right.
How do you tell the story in a package?
Right.
And you're in a store of 30,000 other items.
Right.
And every person walking into that store only has so many dollars in their pocket. Right. They pull out some dollars. They're going to go, ooh, which one of these things am I going to get? Is it going to be my thing with a very difficult story to tell about?
Right.
So our social media and videos, Amazon, our website is really the place to tell our story because 20-second video, the story's told.
Right. Now, how did you come up with your format for pitching on QVC? I presume you were the person there.
I can only imagine. Lori is the queen of QVC.
Oh, okay.
She absolutely rocked it. She let me on the show as eye candy,
right,
for the first time ever, and then I never went back because she was, it was her deal.
Well, you're so good at that, though. I see you as the pitch man on an infomercial, like you just telling the story.
I have the nature for it. Don't have any fear and all that stuff.
Right,
but that was her playground.
That's cool.
And I was not going to get on her gymnasium, so to speak.
Now I know the time with you goes so fast. We're going to have to bring like 15 different times.
How much time we got?
We've got we've got about 10 minutes or so.
Dude, you should do longer podcasts.
I know. me and the producer need to talk about it.
Your watchers are going to watch this show and go, what do you mean it's already over?
I know. They're going to want more. So you sold the business not long ago, right? You had a great run. So I sold it
almost 4 years ago. Okay, so we only got a few minutes.
Take your time.
It was during COVID.
Yeah.
And I'll say the chicken coop business story for another time. I'll say the wine barrel light fixture story for another time. I'll save a couple other fails for. So during COVID, all of a sudden, all these aggregators started showing up, and I started getting letters of intent. Like people want to buy my company, like 4 or 5 of them. Hey, we want to buy your company. And I'm like going, I don't want to sell my company.
Right.
But then the world started. The world was ending.
Sure.
Because everybody was going to die, and they're all wearing masks.
Right.
And they're like, if you walk too close to somebody in a store, like, are you trying to kill me? Get away from me.
Right.
You know the deal.
I remember people were riding bicycles with masks and that people were miles away.
They're still doing it in Orange to Southern California. Oh my God, help us. Anyway, so I don't want to be judgmental.
Right. I'm right there with you.
Comes natural. Anyway, so the world was ending and I was getting offers for my company for more than it was worth.
Nice.
So I'm like, oh my God. I had to say yes to one of them. Okay. I said yes to a deal.
Okay.
Sold it to a company who was buying up lots of other companies with like $1 billion they'd raised. And they're buying a lot. No, not enough.
Okay.
I mean, enough cash for me to walk with.
Right.
And then the leverage side with the earn up and all that stuff. I'm not going to talk about who or where they are.
Absolutely.
I will say they did run it into the ground.
Okay.
Took them a few years. And I identified 5 things they had done to destroy it.
Right.
Pretty quick. And I'm fixing it. I just bought it back 2 months ago.
Congrats to you.
Yeah. So
it's so neat when you see a founder.
Wait a minute. What? You forgot about the part where we're back.
You're back. I know.
We're
I
back.
love it. That's
Read Rest is back. So we have reading glasses.
Yeah.
Lightweight, comfortable, very cool, spring-loaded hinges.
Oh, you actually make the glasses?
Oh, yeah. So we have the glasses as well as the magnetic eyeglass holders.
Okay.
Why not? We finally did it a few years before we sold the company. But my point is, we're back. I bought the company back, and Read Rest is back.
I love it.
And there's a lot of people excited about it.
Well, what I was going to say, I love it when founders come back to something they started. Now, they come back with even more knowledge, and they can resurrect it. They can do the Steve Jobs at Apple when he came back, and that's exciting.
We don't need you. Hey, we can't live without you.
Right. Yeah. That's amazing. So now you're trying to compete with Luxottica and all these other Oakleys.
No.
We're making glasses.
No, we are 2 different worlds.
Okay.
Those guys made eyewear sexy and expensive.
Right.
Just for the record. I would say, I'm sorry, you said.
Yeah, Luxottica and some of these other brands and
we're not in competition with anybody. We're just we solve a simple problem. People that identify with the product. I don't try to get people that don't identify with the product to buy it. Right. I don't even. Matter of fact, yesterday I was in a room. Somebody says, "Hey, Rick, here's a customer for you." I took one look at him. I go, "He's not my customer."
Right.
And he's like, the guy looks at me. He's like, I said, "You don't take your glasses off ever, do you? Except when you go to sleep." He's like, "Exactly. Right. You're not my customer."
Right.
I'm not going to waste my time trying to convince somebody to take the glasses off and trip over something.
So the other business you've created, you've founded quite a few businesses now. You were telling us about Dutch Tape and Wicked Good. And then you were in the chickens. I know we saved that for another show, but you're creating this whole network of opportunities. You're getting into the podcast business as well. You're creating your own studio. I'm amazed. I've been out your home. By the way, you're a car lover yourself. I know you mentioned your good friend Ron, who's a car lover. You have one of your cars, if I remember correctly, is it the Volkswagen?
I have a couple Volkswagen buses.
Yeah. That's so cool. That's definitely
they're not like Ron's Volkswagen buses, but I'm definitely you know what? I'm not a car guy. I'm a youth guy.
Okay.
I'm into my youth.
Sure.
And my first couple cars was Volkswagen bus.
Yes.
And it's a CJ8 Scrambler, a Jeep Scrambler. So I have a 1984 Scrambler, amazing, and some mid 1970s Volkswagen buses. It's more about to me it's more about youth,
right,
than it is about cars. Some people just really dig cars,
right?
So.
Right. Well, I'm amazed by what you've done in the businesses. I have to go look for your team.
I need to plug something.
Go for it.
And I think it's where we met.
Okay.
Biz Owners Ed.
Well, I was getting ready to talk about that. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
It's like we're reading our show.
No, I wasn't going to shut you down yet in the show, but so you've had this amazing experience and now you are giving it back by helping to coach other entrepreneurs of all ages, by the way. They're not young or old. They're anyone that's starting a business, any point in their career. You're leading this organization and you have essentially a PhD course for these young leaders, I say young just from an ownership perspective, to help them scale and grow their businesses.
Yep.
Absolutely amazing. Tell us all about it.
Biz Owners Ed. It's BIZ Owners, plural, ED for Ed.
Yes.
BizOwnersEd.org. I recommend anybody in the DFW area. If you own a business or if you are an entrepreneur of any kind and or if you own a business and you want to scale up, we select 12 people every year throughout the year, and then we put on a 10-week event the first 10 Tuesdays of the year,
right,
where we have 12 class members, but everybody else sits behind them. It's called the gallery. We'll have a couple hundred people that get to absorb all the same wisdom and experience from the teachers, and we call them mentors and speakers that come and interact with the class. All aspects of business.
Yep.
If it has anything to do with business, marketing, sales, operations, systems, financials, legal, whatever it is, we cover all that, legal and fraud, risk, all that stuff. It's free because the original founder, Jay Rogers, his kids are us entrepreneurs. Him and Betty, Jay and Betty's kids. So they want to leave their fortune to this organization.
Right.
And he asked me to be the director of it for a while to make sure it runs without his hands on the steering wheel. And their passion is to help serious committed entrepreneurs grow and scale their companies. Typically, in order to make the class, I encourage people to go to the website, bizownersed.org, and hit the join us button, apply for the class.
Right.
If you don't have at least $1 million revenue and a few employees, you're probably not going to make the cut for the class. We do make exceptions if you have a great opportunity to scale up. But the reason I say that the class is free is because there's no charge. The people that are chosen to sit up front have to put up a $1,500 deposit.
Yes.
Fully refundable if you're not late and you're not absent.
Right.
Because it gives the seat a lot of credibility.
Right.
So we do it 10 weeks out of the year. And then one of the reasons I set up my studio was because a couple years ago, I did a couple events called Story Time with the Legends, where I invited 40 people from that group over to my place in my office. And I had hired a camera crew and we shot videos of these 10 or 12 minute stories from legendary business people in the Dallas community. So
very cool. I have a quick story from that program, but it's worth noting that you have some really heavy hitters in that room. People that have founded, developed, built businesses, sold businesses, $300 million sales. It's just incredible. One of the guys, I don't know if we can mention his name in this company, but they operate a payroll services company, $1 billion revenue-ish. Wonderful company. Mrs. Renfro, the the son or the grandson, he's running that organization as the president. Great organization.
We got a bunch of
just some
really
amazing
heavy
people.
hitters.
I mean, you had Gino Wickman come and visit one year.
Gino Wickman. We have, enough of the teasers.
Yeah.
It is a community that if you own a business or you have a startup or you're already doing, $20-30 million and you want to go scale
Next
up.
level.
There's people here that are bigger than you that can show you that they know their way through the woods. Whatever woods you're in, we got people with a flashlight that'll take you through the woods that you need to go through that you haven't been through yet.
So and I don't know if you know this story. There was one lady who sat up front in that group of 12 that I had gotten to know through the years, had a great company, but needed just the guidance in her business. And so she went to your team there, said, here, I've got some challenges. I'm trying to figure out how to scale. My numbers aren't quite right, financial numbers. I need guidance. She went to the team, and after a lot of discussion, they said, your biggest option where you need to focus now is actually shutting down the business. We don't think you can make it profitable. And but it was the advice,
good advice
that she
is
needed
good
to hear.
advice, man.
It is. And so she ended up making a lot of changes in the business. But I thought, it didn't cost her these huge consulting fees from one of these big consulting firms, but she got her advice from people on the ground that have done it, that have been in her shoes and know what it's like to scale a business. Incredible.
I just want to say that a lot of people that are watching this are like going, yeah, right. What's the catch? What's the catch?
Right.
No, my dad told me there's no such thing as a free lunch.
Absolutely.
And so this is the only reason I would get involved with this organization. So I was in the 2014 class.
Okay.
I was invited. Okay. I ran into Jay Rogers. He invited me to the class. He even says, I don't think you'll make it because you think you know everything. Like, what are you talking about? I don't know anything. Anyway, just because I was confident. Anyway, so I was in the 2014 class, and I stuck around and built lifelong friendships. And the only reason I got involved at the director level is because it is the only altruistic give from people that come and share and give of their time. Why?
Right.
Because we love people.
Yeah.
And we want to see people win.
Yeah. And so, and I'll tell you this, I've been going to this event. I was introduced when I first moved to Texas. So I've been going there about 5 years. And you're right. There's never been and you feed people, by the way. It's a great meal. It's not just French
we got
fries
a real
and
meal,
chips.
maybe a glass of wine or, you know.
It's a wonderful event. But to meet other business leaders that are going through a similar process and scaling a bit, an incredible, incredible business.
There's no place like it. And what confuses me is why we're not filling stadiums.
Right.
And I think it's because, and it's still small, between 100 and 200 people a night. And it's because we're entrepreneurs. We're busy. We're buried. And I just suggest, listen, get unburied for 4 hours a night for 10 weeks.
Right.
Come on down. You'll be glad you did. You're going to probably wind up learning some things that will save you some time to where you can relax a little more because you're going to become more efficient at what you do.
Absolutely. Rick, it's been great having you again. You're free to come back anytime. I think people can benefit so much from your knowledge and wisdom and experience and journey.
I'll be back.
That would definitely love to have you again.
I have 10,000 stories for you.
Congratulations on buying the business back.
Thank you.
That is fantastic.
So excited, man.
Yeah. And you've got so many other projects that you're working on. Keep us posted.
I don't even know how I do it. It's like an out-of-body experience.
I love it. And you still have the same energy, though, which is good. I love it.
Too much.
Keep it going.
All right, buddy.
Appreciate you joining.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Thanks for joining us on the Business Decoded podcast with Ronnie Spellman.
Thank you for listening to Business Decoded podcast with Ronnie Spellman. Please be sure to subscribe and share and stay tuned for more incredible Business Decoded episodes.